This is a video for Pap Haven Rescue. You can find us on the web at www.paphaven.org. We're a Papillon rescue group here to help save the lives of papillons. And these videos, this is the first in a series of 3, are to help foster moms and dads keep their little guys looking beautiful until they can go to their forever homes. These things that we will go over today are the basics of grooming supplies, the things that you'll need to be able to groom your papillons effectively at home. The first thing that you need, of course, is a really good shampoo. And what you want to do is find shampoos that are for dogs, because people and dogs do have different pH. So even though you might use a baby shampoo, it's still not the best thing for your dog. A good doggy shampoo I like this series. It's Bark to Basics, and they are biodegradable, environmentally free, and cruelty-free shampoos. This one is called Bright and White shampoo, and it's really, really good for white dogs. It brings out that luster and that shine that they have in their coats. After you give the dog a bath and rinse him good, then the second thing you might want to use is a good coat conditioner or a demat. This helps to keep the tangles out of the coat. You put it on and then you rinse it out really good. You might want to let it set a minute or two for the full effectiveness. There are also leave-in conditioners, but for papillons I really don't care to use them, as they seem to weigh down the coat and to attract dirt sometimes, especially if you leave too much. The next thing, of course, that you'll need is a good brush. And there are 2 different kinds that I'd recommend. One is a pin brush, and that would be the first one. It has little heads on the ends so that it's very gentle to the papillon's coat and skin. And the second one would be a slicker brush, which is a little more sharp. So if you're using a slicker brush, you want to be very careful not to break the coat, not to apply too much pressure, because too much pressure would tend to irritate the skin of the dog. But I do like the slicker brush because it does tend to pick up a lot of that hair that's loose and the dead hair and give them a really good brushing. I also would advise getting a good comb, because a lot of times tangles are underneath the top layers of the coat, and a comb is what's going to help you get down into the layers and to be able to get those tangles out. This is a mat breaker, and it's not something I would advise using, but it is good if you have a dog that has really bad mats. However, it will break the hair and leave it a little rough, but they are effective, and we'll show you how to use that in the second video. You will need good scissors. There are several different kinds. The first one here is just a regular straight edge scissor. The second one is a more curved scissor with a little ball on the point, so that if you're a little nervous about cutting around the pap's feet, then this one would be more for you, because you lower the risk of injury with the little rounded tips. Another good scissor would be the thinning shears, and they have like little teeth across them, and when you use them they leave the coat with a more natural appearance. This also, if you're brave, you might want to get clippers instead of the scissors. Clippers are very effective. They're a little more expensive. You could probably go for home grooming with just a single speed clipper that would probably run you around $100. Then the next thing that I would have on hand would be baby wipes. And I always get the kind that are unscented, and you can use them for wiping eyes, cleaning ears. They're really good for cleaning up your paps if they have little accidents in the house. So always have baby wipes on hand. They're really good too also for dogs that have allergies, and when they go outside, if when they come in you'll take baby wipes and wipe their feet, it helps get some of the allergens off, and it makes the dog a lot more comfortable. A lot of people have asked me about the tear stains. And tear stains are a hard thing, and they can be caused by a lot of different things. One of the things that can cause them is the minerals and things in the water. So sometimes just using purified water in your dog bowl will help your dog to get rid of the tear stains. A lot of times the tear stains are caused by either allergies or bacteria that the dog has. Angel Eyes is something that you can buy over the counter. It does have a small amount of antibiotic in it, and that's why a lot of times it will work on getting rid of tear stains. So it really depends on what's causing the tear stains on what's going to take care of it. The best thing to do is always keep your pap's eyes dry. You can wipe them with a baby wipe, and then maybe take a little bit of petroleum jelly and run down where the tears would naturally flow. And that way when the tears roll out of the eyes and come down to the hair, they won't soak into the hair. They'll kind of roll off, and that will prevent a lot of the staining. Then one thing that really makes people nervous is toenail trims. And there are several different kinds of toenail trims. The green-handled one is more like of a guillotine type of nail clipper. The one in the middle is a scissor type, which is the kind that I prefer. And then you could always go with a Dremel. There are a lot of dogs who will tolerate that, but there are some who will not. So you just have to know your dog and try and see what works best for you. The one advantage of a Dremel is that it does make a very smooth finish. A lot of times I'll clip toenails and then I'll just finish them on the ends with a Dremel. The downside of a Dremel is that if you get hair tangled up in it, it is going to pull it really hard. It's going to pull it out, or it's going to make a really big nasty knot. So you have to make sure to keep all of the hair that could get caught in it away from the edge of the Dremel. Of course, you need to have on hand some of the powder that you use to stop the bleeding in case you do cut a little too close to the nerve in the toenail and quick it. There are other things that work. You can use cornstarch. You can use baby powder. I've also heard some people say if you take a bar of soap and rub on the end of the toenail, it stops the bleeding. I've never tried that, but I've heard that it does work. Then when you get to the ears, of course, you're going to need cotton balls and Q-tips. And again, you can use the baby wipes. There are a lot of commercial cleaners out there for ears that you can get and try, or you can make your own. There's two different rules of thought for ear cleaners. There's 1/3 alcohol to 1/3 vinegar, white vinegar, and 1/3 water, and you mix that together, or half alcohol and half vinegar and mix that together. You do want to remember that if your dog has any kind of irritation in his ear, you don't want to be putting alcohol in there because it's just going to burn and it's going to make that poor little dog miserable. So this would be for dogs that have healthy ears. And you can tell a dog with an ear infection in different ways. One, it's going to have an odor to it. You're also going to find discharge. Sometimes it's a yellow discharge. Sometimes it'll be a dark discharge. And that's the difference between a yeast infection and a bacterial infection. If you find any of that going on in your dog, then you want to certainly make sure that you take them to the vet. In cleaning the ear, you would use the Q-tip. You would use the cleaner by putting a few drops in there. Let your dog, let it settle in, push around on the ear, the base of the ear a bit. Then let go, let your dog shake his head, and then swab the ear. When you use Q-tips, you only want to go in as far as just the tip of the Q-tip. You never want to go down into the ear canal. If the dog has any kind of debris or anything in the ear, you'll end up pushing it down into the ear, and that's not a good thing. And then lastly, some resources. There are a couple places that I recommend. One is Jeffers Pet, and one is Ryan's Pet Supplies. They do have supplies at very, very reasonable prices. And these are their websites. You can go there, or you can call them at their 800 numbers. There are a lot of other outlet places that you can use. You can go online, and pretty much anything you're looking for, if you'll just Google, you'll find it. So hopefully this has been helpful. In the second video, we'll go over these things and how to apply them to your Papillon. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Thank you.